Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host on desk. I am Sino. I'll be your caster for the day today. We're back for our second SWL stream of the week. I'm so excited to be here. You guys should be too. We're going to be on Consulate with Vertigo and Delirious, versing off each other in a best out of one regular season game. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. And let's take a look at the map that's ahead of us for the day. Taking us right back into the game. Quick little intro takes us right into the ban phase. We will be looking at the first preliminary bans. It is so imperative that the bans get taken right here because of how this map can get molded to someone's liking if Blackbeard will remain on the board, for example. They are very broken operators right now on the attackers and defender side, so it's all about who can make it work to their liking. The first two bans are for the attacker sides. They have been confirmed as we see Monty and Dokkaebi getting taken out. Now, these two operators are absolutely crucial for a successful attack. You do see the Monty being able to mold the map, get the pressure in onto the defenders, and force them out of certain areas that the attackers don't want them playing in. Now, seeing how Dokkaebi also is a very crucial operator, they are two operators that not a single defender wants to deal with, especially on a map as Consulate. The map that you really need to be coordinated on for an instance where you need to be locked in to be able to capitalize and win those rounds. Seeing Kaid is not too much of a surprise because him paired up with Tabaro is an absolute unit of a duo, and that power duo keeps those hatches and the walls closed that you don't want getting open too early on into the round. Mira taking the last defense ban is something that isn't too crazy, as she does allow those one ways onto admin and in below to sight into the server and the main breach. Moving on, and speaking of the breaches, we will be taking upstairs as our first site. Seeing the staple operators come in, nothing is too out of the ordinary, as Capitao is that man with the flames and the smokes, not too shabby, and a very powerful loadout. Thermite being your main harbinger with those two exothermics for the suicide breach and all the way in the triple wall and admin, alongside with the Ashes, your spear entry, and the Twitch to get rid of utility paired up with the IQ and to generally get into the building and get those frags when time allows after you've gotten those frags. Now, it is something that makes sense, but we are going to be looking at a couple of delays when we walk in through some certain areas of the map because we do have an old gen in this lobby for the first time, I think, in the history of Casted. So this is going to be a little interesting to see how long the delays are and how much I'm going to have to extra yap. Now, moving on to upstairs, the game looks fuzzy. What is this? I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. I don't know why my scaling turned all the way down for some reason, but we do move into the first round, assuming upstairs, and we're seeing not a lot of droning going in through, and that's not something you want to start off of. Tachanka being the obvious outlier for this pick also makes a lot of sense. He does have the flame bolt in the pocket. He does have that shield, and he also has an ACOG on that 5-6. Very broken gun indeed, and right now he's a very good denial operator, but teams need to know how to utilize him. Taking a look at admin, the triple wall, taking the reinforcements, nothing too out of the ordinary. Mute playing in admin to get the jammers down and find any droners, and to set up in general does make sense as well. Operators on both sides are looking quite common. Very first an early kill does go in the favor of a Vera onto Ak from friends to enemies, as they're going to be professional this game throughout, and Av showing no mercy whatsoever and landing the first headshot on Takino, taking him out. He's rendered dead for the rest of the round. Zinx now the man for the job to keep everything held down. we see Dokkaebi assuming the position of the Tachanka tag, taking some preliminary damage, but apparently the Doc doesn't see that as imperative to get the stim. Tag assuming the position as well, and this Doc really needs to start distributing these stims. The Maverick is going to not be on the board, which is something that is crucial. Tachanka using his flame bolts to make sure he denies anybody trying to walk it through meeting, and Bandit will remain keeping the suicide breach closed, making it even harder to take full control of this long haul. He has the ability to keep this breach closed, and that's the pressure outside externally gone. Lucas looking to walk into site, gets a very easy kill, but gets taken 50% of his HP off again, but he gets 2 and gets traded off instantly from that shield. It's gotten blown up, but you still haven't checked the corners with that shield up. You're gonna have the Flores assuming his position. You're gonna see the sentry all the way deep now. The striker, my apologies, is now sitting in cafeteria with the Ash sitting as the outlier who needs to find a pick here, because the diffuser's now down in the middle and you have 4 defenders to play against. They have the man advantage, and now they have the ability to just wait for you and absorb the shock of your plays, and that's going to be something to speak of and speak to, as it's going to be crucial as they keep all of these bodies alive. 40 seconds left on the clock, and right now they just need to slow things down. Bandit now with the long angle for anybody crossing through vendings. You're gonna have the Flores taking control, using a flash but not using it close, as Bandit now will be assuming the position of sitting close and will win the gunfight now. Moving into sight, can he win the second? As right now the Goyle's left in a pool of all of the attackers are all closing in on him. The Flores will get 2. Prim swinging it out to win it for his team, and right now an absolute turn of events is going to be the win for Delirious if right now they can hold on the league and not let Tag deny the plant. Right now, Bolo needs to watch the cross. The plant has gotten put down successfully, and if the head stands up, he would have found an easy kill here. But right now, it seems like they're just going to be doing a nice little ring around the rosy. C4 connects, takes Tag out. Tag right now in the 1v1 scenario, left in the suicide breach, and could decide to go for a bait on the shotgun. And right now, he's going to be waiting close. The Ash going for the kill here, and it's ringing around the rosy, but it's Bolo to end it off, and it is the round for Delirious. An absolute turn of the events to confirm, call it, and give the first round. An absolute beautiful first round has taken us into the second. We're going to go into the first floor instantly. We're not seeing a castle, which is going to be a little bit problematic when it comes to getting those verticality holds through, which is going to be a little interesting to see how they're going to adapt to that. So right now, we're in for a round where you got to see the teams adapt to each other's plays. We are going to see the Pulse being brought here. Not too much of an insane pick would be if it was any other site, but right now it is a site that does have a bunch of verticality to deal with, and right now it is something that needs to be dealt with. They take on X position. They had the advantage of that first round for the first little while, but then they lost it suddenly after deciding to give that round up when just letting Prim just walk through the building and win every single one of those gunfights. That's not something you really want to do in a situation like this. You want to get as many points as you can in the league series, and right now, it's not looking like that. Right now, Avira is going to be the man tasked with holding the attackers as they upstairs, and they're going to have a little bit of a challenge right now. Sitting on the long desk is going to be the man himself, and having his teammates abroad with him being Zinx, Tag, and Scarfs alongside, setting up with the verticality, and Dokkaebi will be inside. Not too shabby as that last man pick when deciding to go for that C4. No main rotate is going to allow Sight to be a little unset up and a little unprepared, but seeing how all of the attackers are now prioritizing the admin and the visa takes, it is going to be showing us the main idea of what they want to do. 2 Volcan canisters happened, and needed 40 seconds into the round, and right now, this cap can is still going to be the one tasked with denying, or anybody sitting on this long desk or alongside it is going to be tasked with keeping them at bay. Keeping this long haul locked down is everything And it's so imperative that it happens because you are going to be able to keep that vert locked down until the last dying seconds of the round, forcing more potential mistakes from the attackers if you don't prioritize off your pick. Seeing Deimos rotate over, that means it's a little bit less pressure for the defenders and it allows them to back off. Nobody's threatening the long haul right now except for the Nomad coming in from the stairs. Capcan getting punished, trying to swing off of that, and it will be Lucas to win his first gunfight. Unaware there's a man sitting close to him, and it might be Avira here with the easy kill on a flank. Shotgun dealing damage, will get finished off eventually by Tag. Deimos here for the refrag instantly, but Avira's here for the second refrag, and it's a 3v3 after a body after body after body after body drop. 4 bodies in total have dropped just straight to the verticality, and a minute 22 seconds is still plenty of time to get things done. Tempe now assigned with taking Suicide Breach. Got it open just on the luck of having just a jammer and not a bandit electroshock to deal with, or a Tabara. Thermite assuming the control now, and it's going to be the Warden left in a 1v1 situation where it's so important that he wins here. Goyo canister does get popped, and now 54 seconds left on the clock, and they do need to isolate. You do have Dokkaebi giving the live comms, which is absolutely crucial right now to getting a post plant and getting a post execute, because you can have a man punish you from below. Not a single body looks to be going for sight, and right now it will be those 2 attackers and the 2 defenders that are going to be fighting it out until the last dying seconds of the round. 35 seconds is definitely going to show us that there's no droning allowed in these dying seconds, and right now Scarfs is in the position to force so many mistakes here if he can just stay quiet and wait it out. Ash getting close here. They know to check the corner, but the question is, can Scarf swing before that happens? The question is yes, as the C4 connects from Dokkaebi. Scarf will get 1, almost getting the second, but the drop shot will save him temporarily. Scarf goes down to Ak. It's a double kill for him, but he has 10 seconds right now against the Pulse. Is the worst type of situation you want to be in, and it's all about playing the post plant, and he knows he needs to run at him. Pulse, just play your time, running a pea shooter of the UMP, but there's no rotate that actually plays into their favor, and it now seems to be the round has finally gone in the way of Vertigo, and that's going to be a confirmation and them on the first, and that's Dokkaebi to help out with a double kill. What an execute. Coming in from Vertigo, you see them delay the time upstairs. You see them trying to make it fall down all to the last seconds just to force a mistake. And that is exactly what you need to force things into your hands to get a victory. You can't expect the team to falter and make mistakes. You gotta be on your best game and make them make the mistakes just off of your gameplay. And seeing how the Pulse played off of the 3 defenders on the upstairs hold, it was absolutely beautiful. They take us right back down. They take us right back upstairs. I apologize. The shield is not going to be prioritized on the vending machine, as Tachanka will be running that. 2 now, 1 on the yellow. They're going to cover off all the bases, and right now we're going to see the same hold, and hopefully they can make it a better outcome the second time around, because you cannot falter when it comes to attacking on Consulate, and you cannot definitely be losing rounds on defense on Consulate. Right now, the only thing we've been seeing is allowing players like Ak and Lucas to be able to tear it up from within. We've seen Lucas get a 2K that absolutely crushed Vertigo from within, and we've seen Ak do the same thing as well. G's single-handedly won the round by just walking in through the long haul and taking the admin control nice and easily, and that's exactly the type of thing you don't want to see from a defending team. The whole point of your name is to defend the site, and right now, that was the biggest problem coming in from Vertigo in that first round. Way better on that second time around, but let's see how they're going to adapt to this multifaceted push coming in from Delirious. Seeing that Capitao is going to be a little bit of a picky choice to be able to force defenders out of certain areas. While we wait for everything to start boiling down, I appreciate all the follows, everybody. I know I cannot interact with the chat, but I love every single one of you for supporting. Don't have to follow, you can just watch, and I still love all of you. Right now, Bolo will be on the rappel alongside with the drones coming in from lunch, and you'll have Frimjeeves backing him up on the cafeteria window. You will see IQ's already in below Visa, and the only thing we can actually applaud from Vertigo is they don't see the need for a roamer. We've seen them mainly in sight so far, and that G8 coming in from the IQ is actually imperative and very crucial with the way they be playing it. Looking for utility on the verticality is going to be no bueno right now, and it's all quiet on the western front as they're all just looking to get utility gone. Scarfs is going to commit all 4 of the shock wires to this singular breach on Suicide. Right now, it's going to leave no EMPs in the hands of the attackers except coming in from the striker. It will be himself to bring it. And right now, Scarfs is going to be the man himself as the can opener has a very long fuse time, so it won't be a surprise if he can deny. Turning his attention over, we are going to see a primary deny. He'll get it indeed because there's 1 EMP left, but doesn't really matter because guess what? It's a can opener. IQ will be there to deny it, and right now she'll have to guess on the wall bang as the second one will go through, but she won't connect a bullet. She'll hit him once off the preliminary floor bang, and that's both can openers gone, and it's the second round in a row upstairs where we've seen Suicide Breach get denied. Tachanka will be keeping down the A chassis on the default lockdown with no needs for a Goyo, as now Avira's on greater pasture, switching on to Wardens. He can see through the flashes and smokes, something Goyo cannot do. But again, it'll be Lucas to eat it and walk in and win the gunfight. Something we're speaking of is you have to not allow the attackers to assume so much space, and you need to get this man up before the attackers will punish you on end, before those Flores drones or the floor bangs come in. Avira has the perfect ability here to start using his ability, and he will do so indeed. Pressure coming in from Spiral. It's just multifaceted, pushing his body's dropping all over as Scarfs finally gets himself on the board. Double kill for him. He'll take some damage, but right now he's in the power position to deny the plant. Right now the attackers are circling in. They're all waiting for him, but get this man off Spiral and there's a very high chance you can win this. He has a very easy to deny a plant here. Scarf on the quad kill, and that could be the game over. All he has to do now is hide, and is left in the 1v1 for the second time in a row, and is going to try to go for it again. He thinks the magical fuse time of the diffuser is going to be something that'll change, denying Scarfs of the ace. But guess what? You haven't denied him of the pride it comes with of clutching that. That's Vertigo twice in a row in both clutch situations coming in from Vertigo players, and that's beautiful. On both of the ends, Delirious with the faster executes, but very sloppy on the ends. You need to watch those suicide breaches. You need to watch those corners, and they paid the price in the end for not doing so. And Scarfs punishing them. And that is definitely going to be, so far, the highlight of the game until somebody can show us something better than that. An absolute beauty display so far in these 4 rounds. This game is nothing but action-packed. We're not seeing too many sides have uneven executes. Right now, we're just seeing Vertigo fighting for it more. Delirious, very passionate on their executes when it comes to waiting out the time. But right now, they've been on the struggle just for finding utility and getting things done for themselves. The Flores hasn't been able to send his Rotary charges into the Suicide Breach and Deny, which is going to be the main problem he'll have. You're going to see Castle being brought. Let's see how they're going to keep it close. Mira hasn't been brought, but the Ram has indeed. If you haven't checked the recent changes to her, she's lost her shotgun ability, but she's still by far the best soft breacher. Sledge has received a 1-speed buff, and you've seen Buck get evened out, loses can openers, and get brought with a Claymore. Now, very good balances, allowing more versatility when it comes to bringing different soft breachers, but Ram's still the obvious choice because you can throw it down and avoid the risk of being C4'd. The same rosters as they're going to see 2 soft breachers, but the EMPs haven't been prioritized, and that is definitely a concern we need to speak of for Delirious, as they're not focusing on the utility side of things. So far, their gun skill is sublime, but the awareness of the utility and in general just hasn't been the greatest, and that is something that needs to be improved. Just look at the amount of space they've assumed. In a matter of 30 seconds, you already have Lucas in the building and almost taking care of the main denial. Flash is getting used, and it'll be Avira and Scarves teaming up together to deny this because they know how imperative it is to deal with it. Lucas gives and takes at the same time as you'll take heavy amounts of damage. And right now, Avira will save the life by Scarves right now, the only player taking damage, but Lucas also going down to nearly the same HP. And it's 2 minutes left on the clock with barely any HP shaved off, but you still have Zinx on the flank, or on the roam, I'd like to say, with so much utility. But he needs to get out that room because you're gonna have the Buck above you, and he's gonna capitalize on you. If you don't move, what are you doing, Zinx? And he gets punished by Ack, the man himself who's been punishing. again, from friends to enemies, as right now they know each other. They're all boys and all that, but right now it's all important about who can take this. Thermite will use his exothermic. It is going to use a C4 and somehow doesn't get the breach closed. Avira, not enough time to get that Zoto canister using the hatch, will successfully get detonated. And right now it's all quiet as they're just getting things done. First pick going in favor of the attackers is beautiful, and Tag will use the long angle from cafeteria to try to take people down. It is so important that the defender wins and execute here as all the breaches are getting open. They're clearing so much utility and setting up essentially for that post plant. They have that Nomad, and Bolo hops in at the right time, getting caught off guard. He managed to get it off the drone. A prone peek from the hatch will be able to catch Tag off guard. It's a 5v2 with 48 seconds left, and right now it's the Mute left in a pool of attackers, barely surviving death. But there'll be a Kira on the flank, but guess what? They still have Bolo watching. Beautiful on his ends. The C4 in the hands of him is still going to be used. TK ensues to avoid the flawless, but guess what? He's still got his point across. Only 21 bullets left in the ARX, but 10 bullets for the back of your teammate's head, but 5 for that Mute all the way deep, and it will confirm the round for Delirious, setting us to 2-all as we move into round 5. As the objective rotation parameters dictate, it's been 3 rounds since they've went piano, and guess what? They'll be right back down there. That site was executed beautifully, even though it ended up as a 1v1. We'll see it boil back down. It's all about who can win their gunfights here. And right now, we've been seeing the gunfights preliminary go towards Delirious so far. They do have the better guns, but VERTIGO has been playing that utility, and it's been working perfectly for them. Scarf, the man himself, been having a wonderful time on Warden, and 4 kills. Haven't been much of him since, but those 4 kills did dictate around, so it is positives on all end, using Warden on his verticality. That is map knowledge in itself, so it is positives. You're going to have the Goyo paired up with the Capcan again, and that's just the beauty of Siege. If you can play together, you can get things done so much more than you could think. If you're a coordinated team and you're playing against a very good team, but they're not coordinated, you have a very high possibility of winning. It is a first-person shooter game, but it's also a team tactical game. And seeing the amount of utilities prioritized by VERTIGO and their drive to be able to deny the breach before they do anything is the reason so far they've gotten 2 rounds on the record and made Delirious second-guess themselves every single time they've attacked. Drones are going to come in through from this Twitch to find both of these Volcan canisters and maybe able to get that bulletproof camera, which is going to be critical for that Vert. Right now, beautiful of just starving the defenders of their utility, and so far that is a good highlight for the attackers, as that's not something we've been seeing so far. An early gunfight here, but it doesn't seem as if Ak knows, and the Goyo will seem to be capitalizing off of that, and it's Avira to find Ak and Prim to find Scarf. Not looking so good right now for both teams, and that's 2 very avoidable picks. Lucas now in the closet. Zinx being live pinged by the bees coming in from the Grim, and he has to do nothing but expect the swing. And so far, that's not going to be a reality, as the Capcan knows better than to give a guy live pings and swinging. The verticality, or no, the feed holes almost leads to the castle's demise, as the Ram's going to be walking in, but Avira will be here to save the life of him, and Prim will get taken out shortly. And that's a beautiful display of the teamwork, and that's what I'm talking about. He just makes one swing in, and you have all the others getting punished just off of collaboration. And right now, Avira's in a power position where if anybody walks in through Spiral or through bottom yellow, they'll get picked off very easily. Right now, you still have a defender on the verticality. You have the Nomad fully cleared out of the small office, and now the attackers have to hope to get something on the verticality to work their way down. And it won't happen, as Capcan will punish one right through the vert. It will be Tempe left in the 1v4 situation. The question is, who's he gonna deal with first? The verticality, the man sitting close to him, are the ones in sight waiting for that cross. Our answer shortly has been answered. They're going to be going upstairs, and it's going to be that one. Can you get your foot in the door? 35 seconds left, and you're dealing damage, but you haven't been able to put a nail in it so far. As Avira will walk up behind you, the silent demon on Goyo will end off the round and finally give the lead right back to Vertigo. And this is beautiful. The man himself is locked in. Haven't seen too much of him previously on a fragger roll, but right now he's been doing great at just wasting the time and getting himself in the building and getting those rounds. One more round, they can either choose to double their differential if they want it that bad, or we'll see them go into the attacker-defender switch all even. Credibility to credibility, both teams are doing absolutely beautiful for a map such as Consulate, where it has its ups and downs, but it's very hard to mold to your liking. Again, with the old gen, you just run out of points to talk about here, but we are going to move into our next round, and so far, they're going to see upstairs. Again, it seems like no team has liked to go basement, as the only time Delirious has done it, or the only time Vertigo has done it, my mistake, they've gotten critically punished. So far, it's all about who can win the rounds, and it's been 100% 50-50. Upstairs for both Delirious and Vertigo, 100% on the basement, and a 100% success rate for the mid floors coming in from Vertigo. Obvious choice for second floor again, but right now, can they hold it to a T? This is the round they need the most, so hopefully they'll show us why they want it. They take us into the next round. Again, the same exact operators. We don't see anything too different. I would say bringing in a second set of EMPs or somebody to go in for the vert would be important, but both teams haven't picked up on that yet. And right now, it's Scarfs who's been cooking on this site. He's kept the wall denied. The last time we seen him upstairs, we seen him keep the wall closed and potentially robbed of an ace, as we saw Ak rather his KD than letting him an ace. So far, we've seen crucial gunfights as Scarfs has denied a breach and single-handedly won his team the round. So let's see how they'll do this second time around. Hopefully not leaving it in the fates of the man with the iron-sighted MP7. And let's see who can get the first pick here, because again, it's all about the first pick and who can determine how the round will go. The C4 won't connect on the Bolo, as he'll choose droning over anything first. Flores assuming the positions of upstairs into the copy room. IQ will be below, trying to get a nice little frag toss over here, and that's map knowledge at its finest. The shield that was not there at all is going to remain up, and that's beautiful. That's beautiful from Avira. He picks up the shield and puts it right back down, as you're gonna see the second frag get tossed. And Avira, you could have done it beautifully, but I'm pretty sure the frag missed as it goes in between the vending machines. And now the defenders have added another barrier between themselves, the site, and the attackers, and that's going to be an absolute pain to deal with. Avira with the long angle. What can't this guy do? Except for maybe swinging to the R4C. Maybe not the greatest of ideas, but he's decided to take care of a bull. And maybe it's time to pop that canister on the wall, but in the meantime, we are going to see Tag capitalize off the one, get refragged instantly, and I'm pretty sure hearing the suicide get breached, get tricked for the second time, we're in a similar stalemate where both Vex bolts have been used and they're not there to connect, and Avira lands long angle. The Vulcans have been detonated, and Prim will probably eat it again, but 45 seconds left, and they're at an even bigger disadvantage as they were before. They don't have the breach, they've lost the main operators, and the shield will get fried with 2 minutes, 30 seconds burned from the defenders, and that's exactly what you want. Maybe not a swing is something you want, as you do have a one-man advantage, and it is very important that you hold on to that. Avira is still taking heavy amounts of damage, and it's just important they deny this wall, as you'll see Scarf trying his best, but you just cannot let them walk up like that. And Malusi We'll lose our gunfight to a mere pistol. It's a 2v2 as Goyo will be there to even it out in 10 seconds. Again, just left on the board, and Goyo has the cross from hell, needing to still go pick up the case. They're a little late to the trace, and right now it is a 2v2 situation, but it will be a 1v2 while the man tries to get that diffuser down, and it will be Dokkaebi on the flank. Has the ability to go flank Avira, just go for the defuse, deny, and that's exactly what he'll do, but it can't get it in time as it's now a 1v1, but it's a quad kill as it's a team effort to get that diffuser down, and it's the man himself on the double kill. Dokkaebi to end up the round. 4-2 as they've doubled off their differential on the attacker-defender switch. What was absolutely tied up neck and neck all the way up to round 3s and 4, but now we've kind of seen VERTIGO ease up a little bit. They've let it boil down to the last couple of seconds almost every single round now, except for that basement site. But as they move on to attack, we have to hope and anticipate that their attacks are going to be better than Delirious. We've seen them take verticality very well, but right now when they've had that barrier between themselves, the site, the verticality, and getting breaches open, they've faltered every time unless they've had vert on it. They can't get the breach open, and they've gotten denied 3 times on end by one man himself, being Scarf. This is only a BO1, ladies and gentlemen, so that means any expectation to try to bring it down in the next map is just no longer there. It's all about now or never. Who can take the points here, today, and right now? And right now, it seems like VERTIGO's the one that's most passionate to do this, but attacking on a map such as Consulate is where dreams go to die. So we have to see how they'll adapt on that first time around. Right now, a little bit of a different setup. We're not seeing them so committed to this singular hallway. They didn't bring the Goyo. They have reinforced off the triple and the solo, so they do allow that protective cope, but the Frostmat might catch an attacker off guard if they haven't drawn that properly. You have to expect it. You have to expect it. If you don't, this is going to be absolutely hilarious to watch. As we don't see a Valkyrie on the board, surprisingly, no team has utilized her for the Vert C4. And we haven't seen either team come in from Visa unless it's a late round push coming in from that IQ, which was the ACK. Again, not shooting the Frostmat. It's bound to happen. Somebody eats this. Avira taking very heavy amounts of damage, but guess what? Pulse will be the man below to try to look for a kill here. And will this be an early kill for Delirious? No, as the Pulse will deal more damage to himself than he will any other attacker. And it is a little bit of a botched fail, as he could have decided to just, get up and run away. He'll land some damage on Dokkaebi, but again, we'll receive Wolver damage. And now we're going to see Dokkaebi being the lowest among all 10 of the players in this game. We're going to see Avira take some damage. Lucas and Ak also taking damage, and right now Legion has the power position wherever he goes just because of the gun. Anywhere close to the shotgun, your head will be eviscerated before you can count to 2. The Rotero charge will completely and bleak miss Ak. Has the ability to drone anybody and take care of Spiral, but right now it's all about who takes the control of this long haul. As now it's looking like just a single-handed push. They've finally gotten that bridge open. First time we've seen this breach get open in a couple of rounds, and right now the defenders are in a good spot, but guess what? So are the attackers. They've gotten that breach open to add on the pressure coming into the single-sided hard wall and the breach and the man sitting in the corner. The question is, can they execute on the long desk long enough? They've lost 2 or 1 C4, my mistake. They have 1 left coming in from Tempe. If he gets picked before that, it has the use of a C4. Where are we and what are we going to see for the rest of the round? 38 seconds and all 10 bodies are still up is something to speak of, but guess what? Avira has wiggled his way into sight. Right now, the first kill will go in the favor as Lucas will get 2. And looking away at the last second, Avira goes out to get a kill. The Legion shotgun's not something you want to deal with, as he just walks up to suicide and takes care of business. 3 shotguns on the clock now. Not something you want to deal with, as the C4 is going to get pre-placed again. Just look in the corner, but Tempe will get taken off the board. Check the suicide breach. You have to with that shotgun, and right now, it'll take care of you. But guess what? It's the man himself, Avira, to just deny, and he'll just need to take the gunfight. He knows he just needs to win. What is this guy doing? Pulse losing sense of what is all even, but somehow winning the round. Quad kill for Lucas and getting the defuse off. And that's a round you need to request a timeout. What is running through the heads of both teams as it got sloppy in the end, but it's Lucas just trying to target the main man himself. Avira would have had a better chance reloading the gun, getting up and taking the gunfight then, but it doesn't happen that way. It doesn't fall into his hands that easily, and he finally pays the price by losing the round. And that's Delirious on the board for 3. Absolute interesting turn of events there, with all 10 bodies up, boiling down to the last dying seconds of the round, and an absolute toss in my opinion. But it's all about who can bring it back and overcome their past challenges. It's the nicest term to use it. Delirious not taking any time. They're not even going to try the mid-floor hold, and they'll take it straight down to the basement. Wasn't the greatest hold for Vertigo, but again, all teams have those sites, all teams have those maps, and Consulate has those certain sites where if you don't know how to play it to the last tee, it's going to be a little bit painful. The roamers got cleared too fast, and that was eventually just an unlucky turn of events for the round to go. And 1 C4 is going to be a questionable pick, as you're not going to have that much denial if they do decide to go for a full-blown vert, as they are going to have 2 soft breaches plus the breach charges either from Ash or the Nomad. Avira, the man himself, soaring at the top of the board. Ice kills so far, and Tempe seeming like his bullets have magnetic reactions to heads and go around them. It will be the Azami and the Castle on the team up, just to deny utility for as long as possible, and I do respect it. Azami, not a man to mess with, and not a person to mess with in general, as her gun, her ability, her secondary is just not something you want to deal with. Tag has the ability to punish the Legion here, and he will do so indeed. And that's 40 seconds in, losing a body, which is absolutely crucial. One, getting the vert down in Consulate. Such a large map with so many corners and areas to hide. It is beautiful that they've managed to deal with this so fast. All other defenders are going to be laying around in sight. Avira trying to get down what was certainly supposed to be a death is Lucas's whiff from 0 to hero, back down to 0 as he whiffs down on the spear entry and allowing Avira to assume full control of yellow, and will ease up now as he's just going to help out his team going for the full verticality. Luckily, the C4 is still up in the hands of Vertigo, or of Delirious, my mistake, but Vertigo will have the ability to just start working that vert and getting easy kills. No can openers is going to be the main advantage, and the impact will do some damage, and the C4 will do more damage as it'll claim the life of Tag, but guess what? You still don't have the man advantage. You claim the life of the ramp, and the impact of the trick falls a bit short as the bridge will fully get open with vert head holes, and the Azamis and Pillar. Somebody needs to assume that position now. The Kiba is getting burned. Very, very important for anybody trying to sneak down that yellow side. What are you thinking contesting the AK-12, especially with scarfs behind it, as he'll get a kill, take care of Bolo. And instead of wasting mags, drones maybe to follow soon, as there's only 55 seconds left. But that's beautiful on time as they're up 2 bodies, nobody's on pillar, and the man with Kiba barriers has now been perished. 2 rounds standing between 3-5, and let's see if they can claim it. Tempe, since then, has managed to get himself on the board. Let's see if he'll be the 0 to hero. Assuming the crucial position of Pillar, and now has to watch 2 of the angles by getting closer. And Avira surely had to have heard the MP7 bullets soar in, And Twitch now looking to walk down. It needs to be a pinch here, but Avira gets a double kill, and the man's erasing anything that walks up to him. And surely he knows he's in the corner as Avira on the triple kill. It's just absolutely inevitable. You walk in front of his crosshairs and you're taken off the board as he'll be 12-6 on the board. Nobody's close to touching him in this game, and that's 3-5 in the favor of Vertigo. They're soaring sky high, and apparently their attacks are better than their defenses, as now it's looking beautiful and crystal clear of who wants it more now. Whoever decided to bet against Vertigo is going to be losing some points, as now it's absolutely crazy on the event's shortcoming. Now, whoever decided to uppercut my mic and cause that boom, I apologize, as if it wasn't myself, but that takes us on to the next round, where we'll see Tempe go from 0-6 to... wow. From 0-6 to 2-7. Using a timeout is something that isn't frowned upon, but it needs to be done. You need to reevaluate your team's approaches to certain abilities, and right now we're not seeing many teams do that all over the console scene. As we see literally the same exact roster, now with the buck getting rotated out, like the last time, 6th pick gets used and brings the Twitch. Other outlier of operator is going to be the Mozzie, as we don't see Mozzies too often. Is Delirious gonna allow themselves to get ran through like this, or are they gonna fight back? We're looking at a much more an extensive hold coming in from them. They're going to be looking to get better extensions going now, and that's something to speak of. It's all about adaptability, and that's something I respect. So far, Avira going from spear entry to just getting roamers gone, and we might see for the second time now Ak getting taken out nice and early, as he's completely unaware that there's a man right on his back. The flash flies in, and they're just doing a nice little game of ring around the rosy. Avira's definitely just checking the corners, and Prim getting beamed down, but the DMR is just something that's inevitable down at close range, getting taken down to 1, but surviving to see another day. And right now, you have completely disregarded the second man on the roam, and maybe the more roamers, the better. As now Avira will be going for the roam, but again, the shaky shots are not something you want to be doing when you're trying to bring a comeback in. Goyo has decided to have greater pastures and move back downstairs with the castle. We're seeing one total body down in the site, and right now Mozzie will be soft rowing. Avira left with the task of finding all of these defenders. Getting those drones done, you need to find the Legion, and it seems as if you've done that task, or have you misdroned, as you know you need to find him. They know the life pings, they know exactly where it is, and that's an easy wallbang kill if you're able to succeed, and he drops the hatch. That's not a kill you can falter from, and Avira there to capitalize off the mistake, but cannot do so. Everybody can have shaky aim, but it's not the man himself. It's not like Ak to have faulty aim, as he'll get a double kill. He'll just be ripping up from within, as now they haven't even gotten close to the site. What was absolutely beautiful from Vertigo has all now crumbled, as we've seen them completely assume different posts and fail to adapt, as Dokkaebi is left in a pool of 5 defenders, approaching a very sleek and inevitable flawless unless he can win this gunfight ensuing. Castle now closing down the distance in the corridor. Dokkaebi knowing you need to close down the corners, avoiding the flawless, but can you avoid the 4 bodies latching themselves onto you and depleting you of all the health you have left? C4 opens up the head of Goyo, and a little bit of teamwork there from a defender and attacker to make Prim G's meet his maker. And now 10 seconds left on the clock, and it's just going to be an absolute it's going to be an absolute clip farm to get things done and find the bodies. Doki with no idea what to do, and with respect, as he has to face barbed wire, Volcan canisters, and a plethora of utility. He'll face the round loss without losing his life, and that'll be the next round as they're going to stay neck and neck, but Vertigo with the shy advantage of 1. Again, the old gen, absolutely hilarious. All about who can take this next round. Can Vertigo capitalize and take it to the match points, or are we going to see a 5-5 tie that's potentially going to take us to an overtime? Now, this isn't Pro League qualifiers, as we're not going to see infinite OT in the end, but potentially we don't see it even go to that point. Lucas back on pulse, hopefully a better hold this time as they've been struggling so far. Preliminary pulse scans are going to be looking for anybody playing on that cafeteria window, and that's exactly what you want when you need to find an early pick. Second roamer will be the man himself, but will be going up back to the site, being Prim G's, but a spawn peek. It's absolutely ballsy. Will work if somebody decides to struggle and go up this ladder, but Ying narrowly surviving death. Question is, are we going to see a swarm of a plan here as we're finally seeing Ying and Gridlock being paired up together to create that chaos that we didn't know was needed. Lucas is the man himself to worry about. He has a shotgun, a C4, and a pulse scanner. Let's see what he can do so far from within. It's all quiet right now. Nothing to do much except for just wait for the attackers. Legion will be the first person standing in between the attackers and the site. Will be the first obstacle holding the verticality, and Lucas will assume the position of waiting, and it'll be who has that shotgun to win the gunfight. And apparently, how do you lose more damage with a shotgun at close range than you do in the further? And apparently, he's completely unaware as to where he is, and he somehow wins the gunfight. A little shocking from both teams, but Lucas has a stim waiting for him, and I'm a little confused as to what the hell we just witnessed. Warden, luckily he being the only man brought to successfully evade the Yings and the Candelas. Cannot successfully avoid track stingers as now they will be sent in. Getting aggressive in Ak has that high risk, high reward, but it'll be Zinx fully in bathroom to assume the position and get aggressive. Bravo will be up as well, losing our gunfight. Ak again on the double Ying trying to get aggressive. And yet again, Avira left in a situation we have to find so many attackers. And right now, his attackers have fallen. And it's rest in peace to all of them, as now he's going to have to deal with 3 defenders instead of his former teammate on 3 the previous. 27 seconds as he's just losing time and time again. Apparently, Mute Shotgun has turned into an absolute sniper rifle, as now it is turned and sniped Avira for 90 HP off of that distance. And that's all even on the Western front as it's 5-5 moving into round 11. Wow. Well, Trying to save my voice for those last minute plays, those building up energy plays, but I can't stay quiet for as long as I have been because the old gen is just absolutely throwing me off. It's going to be a little bit of a confusing play here, as right now we've been seeing both teams go straight at it. Vertigo taking control, then Delirious responding right after. And speaking of responses, Vertigo's beloved site has now been taken in the hands of Delirious, and let's see how they're going to play it out. An extension's going to go through now, and I'm actually kind of excited to see how both teams have different holds for different sites, as right now we've been seeing the creativity of both playing to their advantage. These Valkyrie cameras might be something to deal with later in the round, but guess what? If Hero's on the board, and a man who knows how to IGL and frag it at the same time is a man who will definitely know how to get utility, and the man who carries the utility as Goyo will be nothing now but a fantasy, as he'll be taken out on the board 40 seconds in, and that's the first pick in the favor of Avira. 14 kills next to his name, and he's absolutely found his flow in his jam because he can use any operator and make it look absolutely seamless. That's one less defender he needs to worry about. And now the attackers are just going to be looking for utility, and maybe the heads of the utilities, it'll be Zinx off the skylight to get the second and take care of Lucas. Two of the players that have composed your mid line and taken care of your utility while getting kills have now fallen, and now you have to rely on your best player and your worst two players to get things done. Smoke being tucked into this meeting room here might have the ability to punish anybody crossing his crosshairs, but Avira seems to know this, trying to cross, but a little bit of a preliminary free fire is not going to be a beneficiary in the favor of the Smoke, as he gives away his position that could have been used so well and late into the round, but a pre-play C4 is going to be placed, I would assume, as it would claim the life of the Jackal if he decides to detonate it, and it's a little too late as Jackal narrowly escapes death. Getting hit by the F-Nats, and right now will have to face the Smoke as he's tossing a Toxic Babe, and no, he'll completely leave it. F-Nats, Fenrir just tearing it up from within, making the attacker second guess everything, but no C4s, and it's Toxic Babe left on the denial, leaving the defenders left in a situation where they're gonna have to look for some picks here. Now the complete site is open as Avira's on a double and Volo left in a 1v5. It seems as if it's a flawless one way or the other, as Avira will lock out the round with 16 kills next to his name. And that's match point in the favor of Vertigo. It's beautiful on both ends, but is Vertigo the man, the team, the myths, the legends to take it home and call it a night? Wow. My voice needs a rest because, wow, this game has been nothing but action-packed for the last 11 rounds. Moving on into the 12th, this is where Delirious sets their own fate here. Nothing is stopping them between getting a round and sending it to overtime and going home. Now we're going to be taking it right back down to the basement. They had a beautiful time on this site the second time around, and the question is, can Avira find the first pick? Because it seems as if the prophecy, if Avira the man finds the first kill, it's a round for Vertigo, confirmed no matter the circumstance. as we're gonna see Scarfs, the legend, on the 417. Now, a little bit of lore. If you don't know what Scarfs does on a 417, he can use the gun all right. We haven't seen much of him since his clutch on Bandit, only getting 2 picks for 5 rounds. Not the greatest of stat lines, but there's always the ability to come back and prove yourself. It is match point, and they do have the ability to send it home right here. So it's all about what they can do in this situation right now. It's all about now and everything about this moment. Now, seems like Scarfs is going to be a little patient here. They're all looking for a roamer, but why? They've decreased the amount of roamers they have. You'll have Lucas extending out. As you see, Delirious, they know how to extend out with Castle. That's something we know for sure. But now, just minimizing the amount of roamers they have is something that won them the round, crucially by having so many roamers to create chaos, and losing out on them is going to be something to talk about because of how crucial it is. And as we literally see it happen, Avira will be the man to find the first pick again. 20 kill game is potentially in hand, and we might see this go home right now if they can keep building it up, because the prophecy has been fulfilled of Avira getting the first kill. Is now we just wait to see which next player from both teams meets their maker, as Ak will be the man to either drive a wedge in between the attackers and the defenders, or sadly fall a hatch and force back into sight, as he had the ability to deny for so long, but fell down the hatch, and there's not much you can do about that. Just the way life goes, the first Goo mine will connect with Scarf all the way upstairs in the main lobby, and 50 seconds left, and it's all boiling down to these dying seconds of the round. They need to start getting that utility in. They need to start getting that utility in now, as getting the vert open, getting the breaches open is also just as crucial as the other. And now, Zinx, now with the power position. If he finds the Azami and he gets a kill on the board, it's going to be beautiful. Lions can protect him for now, and the Life Kings will find the bandit, but that breach needs to get open. The breach is yet to be opened with 25 seconds left. This is going in the favor right now of the defenders, as they cannot find the bandits. Zinx has the ability to win it, as he'll crouch, and wow. Prim just shows us what is going on in his head, and it's apparently 300 IQ all over, as he'll barely manage to get that through, and Avira forced to scramble on the backside. A blunder. You had the first pick but didn't have the wall open. What's going on? Is it a 2v2, a 2v1, and a 1v1, as Tag managed to boil it down somehow to a 1v1, but it eventually sends us on to OT for Delirious in that round. Single-handedly just shows us why both teams are just so good for each other as a head-on. That's the second SWL game I have casted that has went to OT, and it's credit where credit is due. There's no way that happens without them trying to troll me, and they're going to bring it in to overtime, and let's see how they'll play it out. Right now, Vertigo takes it to 6-6 overtime, and it's all about who can win this next site. It's all about who boils it down to these last couple of rounds. 3 rounds to make that opportunity, and right now, it's all in their hands to take it home. Right now, I do need to conserve all of my breath, because it's all about here, now, and who can boil it down, because it's beautiful so far. As we're into overtime, it's all about who finds it here and who finds it now. As right now, we are going to see the Tachanka setting up into the long haul yet once again, as we're going to see Delirious take a paper out of Vertigo's playbook, as they're going to bring the Tachanka, but they're going to back it up with the Jaeger ADS at this time, which is something new. Early run out here. Had the opportunity to find a kill. Lucas will find one. Scarfs will trade him out. That's your smoke for the Thatcher. That is an absolute detrimental play. Lucas dying nearly every single round, but the wall will be jammed, but it's possible for a player to get either a Flores drone or something to get that suicide breach. You've lost the Thatcher, the man who can open up that breach with minimal to no risk, but still, you have traded out the man with the 3 toxic babes and the primary denial, and that's something that's absolutely crucial. Flores tippy toes to try to get that breach, and right now, Avira just walks through, but gets shotgunned out because there's nothing you can do about that. And Tempe slowly making a comeback from being 0-6 now to 6-8. That's a very good comeback in my favor. He's gotten his bodies down, and Scarf's playing this angle might have the ability to find his teammate a frag, but right now the defenders are playing this absolutely perfectly, as somebody would expect, as the breach has finally gotten opened, you would assume. But suicide breach doesn't mean much now, as you've lost a lot. You've lost your top fragger, you've lost your bottom fragger, and there's still so much denial to deal with. The C4 and 15 Shmikas, and a Volcan in the middle of the hallway is not something you want to deal with. Sledge finally giving us that pressure coming in from Spiral, and trying to bank off a frag grenade and losing that one that could have potentially given him a kill is going to be something where he needs to find a kill. Dokkaebi finding one, finding two. He's in. That is Dokkaebi to save the life of his teammate, getting tagged up, giving them that man advantage, a pickup that is very much needed, dealing damage to Tempe, but Tempe has a better response, and that's called a nice C4. Triple kill for him, as now he's all even, and now 30 seconds left on the clock, and it's Scarfs in a 1v2 situation. They found out his whereabouts, and Tempe, you guys need to learn. It's been 3 kills for him, and you haven't learned that shotgun does a lot of damage. Pre-fire or look for a kill, and it will be him dealing damage from the wallbang. Going behind the desk, it'll be another round of ring around the rosy, as he'll wait for the kill. And waiting is all the name of the game is, and Scarfs needs to go for a kill here, as he's gonna decide to plant for some reason with 4 seconds left on the clock. Why would you bait it, Scarf? 7-6 goes in the favor of Delirious, and that's the lead tossed as we go on to a timeout that is very much needed, because what is going on here as we take it to a timeout? A very well needed requested timeout, as both of these teams have been battling it out to the T, but right now it seems as if Delirious has managed to come in from behind and take the lead. Can they force this to 7-7, or is it going to go to every single round, or is it going to boil down and we're all gone and done? Timeout shortly coming to an end as we boil right back down to the picks. They have attack. Can they capitalize? This game has genuinely been neck in neck. I haven't seen anything too crazy so far on the bodies, and that is something that is very rarely seen in terms of finding your kills, getting things done, and executing within the dying seconds of the round. Every round has been action-packed. Every single person has carried their weight. We've seen the man that was 0-6 now with 8-9 next to his name. Very well done by him, single-handedly putting a nail in Vertigo's attacking coffin. Avira, a one-man army, as he has 17 kills next to his name, and Dokkaebi being his second fragger that's positive, but the rest of the team struggling to find it. Scarfs with a little bit of an improvement now on his list, and it's all going to be about who can find this round. now, it's all quiet on the Western Front as they boil this down to the last couple of seconds of the round. 7-6 is next to the clock, and it's all you need to worry about as Buck. It's downstairs, mid-floor, but the first pick will go in the favor of Vera. He's on 18 next to his name, and this is crazy. They're doing amazing so far. That's a very good pick, and the suicide breach is gonna get open because guess what? You don't have himself to close it down with the bandit. We've seen him on it before. Bandit seeming to be Scarf's lucky person, but guess what? You don't need a bandit when you're upstairs holding down for a grand piano. Drones coming in through, not what you would expect on a Demute. Miss drone? It has to be better. It has to be better if Delirious wants to take it home right here. It has to be. The miss drone gives Tag the ultimate position to find something. If that shock drone gets shot, it's absolutely over for anybody walking into the close crosshairs of him. Thermite, assuming the position of suicide, you would expect him, even if he's been droned up, to check the corners, but it's very highly likely that he will not. He has the support from Scarf on the long head holes, and right now, 1 minute 18 seconds, and they have the first pick. They've lost their best player. As it all boils down to these dying seconds here. Avira, a mere 2 kills away from on a 20 bomb. Would have been an absolute crazy stat line. But can it be 1? He's going to decide to keep his body, popping the Goyo when he knows he's bought his team 10 times the amount of time they need. And Zinx on the flank. It's all about what can he do here. Who's going to act faster? The attackers or the defenders all waiting? Avira, so close and so hungry. And the type of hunger is something I love to see. Thermite finally recognizing, but guess what? Scarf's recognizes a C4 to your face isn't something you want to deal with. And now Scarf's tucking in and forcing so much time as Zinx now on the flank. And Avira takes him out even while flashed. And it's circling around. It all comes full circle as it's a 1v4 confirmed by Doki. And it's a 1v4 with 20 seconds left on the clock outside the suicide breach and a pool of attackers. And it's Avira with the 20 kills next to his name to take us to 7-7 OT. What more could you ask for from both of these teams? They're both executing to every single execution that you want. It all boils down to these last dying seconds, and they're doing absolutely beautiful on it every single time. The last round. The last dying embers of this game is all going to lie on the shoulders of these 10 players on your screen. Who is going to have the better IGL? Who is going to have the better fraggers? It all boils down to this question and this question only. I'll tell you what it's not going to depend on. It's not going to depend on Prim's old gen Xbox. The big 25, and we're still running the Xbox One. But what do you expect? The last sight of this game, which is crazy to say, as it is a regular season game. We've been here for an hour and 10 minutes. An absolute pleasure to be your host, your caster, your observer, and your producer. We are going to see Basement as that site. It was Delirious's favorite, as they managed to win it on a 78% chance, and we've seen Vertigo only convert it 1 time. Can they make things different here? Avira back on his spear entry, and 20 kills next to his name is going to show us what is in store for this next round. Now, for some reason, we're seeing a mute by himself upstairs, committed to roaming. But guess what? Scarf's the Chaos Agent himself. They're not even going to look for the roam. They're going straight for the site. No good luck in the hand, but they have assumed positions of secret. Will take server shortly after, and the drones will follow through. They don't have the triple wall wedging them between themselves. No Mira. The double wall in the site is now double soft and feed holes all across the lunch breach. This is going to be beautiful for the attackers as Avira, the man himself, has fulfilled the prophecy again. 21 kills next to the name, and that is a crazy stat line. from the man who I've never seen perform as the top fragger is a completely reformed person. And maybe it differs from league to league as he's just done himself and managed to do everything that is needed. Blackbeard having to deal with a Volcan canister will take the shield, and Blackbeard, you know best not to go for the gunfight or strafe left to right. A very crucial mistake is going to end up in the death of Scarf, and it's not going to be the best of ideas, as now he is down a body, and so is all of Delirious, as they've gotten a successful pick by taking care of the shield off Ak, making a Virus kill absolutely useless, as he'll get 1 and 2, doubling his kills. And being a roamer, I've never seen a mute roamer so impactful. Avira knows now he needs to leave the pressure that he's been applying downstairs, because this mute upstairs is going to be the absolute pain to deal with, but he goes right back down. Echo Cam, Yokai gets burned, and the mute's back in his sight like nothing ever happened. And now with a 3v2 with the hands and the advantage of the defenders, something you could not wish for more than this moment. The only positive is they don't have a Mira. The two top fraggers, 22 into board, and Ak taking so much damage so far, and right now he's assuming so much control as he's just gonna walk in. 1, 2, can he find a quad? Can he find the ace to make it the game for himself? This is definitely a Hall of Fame experience, as almost finding the ace, narrowly escaping death from the C4, and oh my god, a 25 kill is in his hands if he can find Cursed himself. And Cursed has the ability for the greatest 7-7 clutch of all time. The question is, who's watching his cross? Nobody, as Avira is the man, the myth, the legend, to get 25 kills in a game, to call it home and call it in the favor of Vertigo, to call the map clear, done and dusted. What a game, what a play, and what an execution from both sides on the team. 25 kills is something never to be joked about. That's a Hall of Fame experience right there, and that's definitely the fragger of the week. That's a GG's to literally everybody in this series, and I have been your host, Sino. It's been an absolute pleasure to be here, and I will see you guys in my next SW cast. Hopefully, I will be here again soon, as I've been having a blast in my first 2 games. Have a great night, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.